Now, if you'd like to learn a language like one of the real G's, you can learn using an app called Anki. Anki is literally a flashcard app. So an app that helps you build flashcards. So you put the word on one side, then you put the translation on the other, and then once you have enough cards, the app just helps you to shuffle the deck. And what's good about that app is, number one, it's free completely, and it will show you the word that you need to learn at just the right amount of time. There is actually a science to how long you should wait before reviewing a word in order to remember it most effectively. Anki basically takes care of that for you. So you don't have to try and stress, have I waited a day? Have I waited a week to review this word? To be honest, I don't use that app all the time, but I have in the past, and it's very helpful. Yet another tool for you to use. And I'm gonna make a bold statement here and say that if you're just learning the basic vocabulary and grammar, it's actually better if you just learn that on your own, honestly. Because you could get a teacher if you really need a helping hand, but you're gonna end up paying like $10, $20 just to learn something that you can get from one of these apps. Use the apps, take some notes, and just study something like 15, 30 minutes a day, maybe an hour, or even 3 hours. If you want to go really crazy, that's all you need. Whoa, hold up. What about pronunciation? I've heard that's important. Talk about that, Tommy. I agree. Pronunciation is important. And if for some reason you want to sound like a native speaker, then the first thing you should do is focus on pronunciation. Master that before you even learn your first word. But to be honest, I don't think you should do that. Don't stress it that much. What I usually do now is I start learning the language, learning the words, the vocab, the grammar, and if I encounter a sound that's foreign to me, that I've never heard before, I'll go and Google it and try to find out more about the sound. The only exception to this, for me, is when it's a tonal language, like Chinese, because in that case, the pronunciation is pretty important. And if you don't nail it, people are not going to understand what you're saying. So you finish the basic course in the language, and you're feeling comfortable with the grammar and the basic vocab. So what do you do now? At least for me, this is where the fun part begins. This is where we get to step 3. It's time to talk to people, real people. So the only problem is, real people, real human beings, tend to be kind of busy. And they don't have the time to just become on-the-spot language teachers for you. So you have a few options here. One is to find an actual teacher to talk to. And in this case, I would actually say getting a teacher is the best choice. If you can. If you can afford it, a teacher can, number one, help you fix all your mistakes. A regular person will feel weird about telling you when you made a mistake because they don't want to be rude. But a teacher, of course, you're paying them to tell you about all your mistakes. Now, what if you can't afford a language teacher, but you still want to talk to native speakers? I've been there. And thankfully, you have other options. You have free options. One example are language exchange apps. Stuff like Tandem. You can go on there and you can find random people to instantly chat with in whatever language you're trying to learn. Now, I've heard these apps can be a little more annoying to use if you're a woman because, surprise, surprise, dudes from around the world will use this as an excuse to hit on you. Finally, another option is you can check if you have language meetups or language events in your city. Now, a language event is an event where you go to it, you say what language you're learning, and ideally what will happen is you'll find somebody else who's learning your language, and then you can just take turns practicing each language. If there's alcohol involved, it's an even better event.